Hi, it's Michael Wong here. I'm an Australian lawyer and a registered migration agent. In this video, we're going to cover what happened in the past week in the migration law and Australian education, as well as other law area. So if you like this video, please give me a thumb up and share this video and comment this video. If you like this channel, please subscribe our channel and hit the bell so that next time we've got new video, we can remind you so that you can get the newest Australian immigration information. So the first one I would like to talk about is the invitation in September. So the Skills Select issued 350 invitations for those who would like to apply for 189 skilled independent visa and 150 invitations for those who would like to apply for 491 skilled visa, but it's family sponsored stream. You can see that the point that get invitation is quite low at this time. For 189 visa, they invite those who are above 65 points, and for 491 visa, the Skills Select invite those who's over 75 points. And the waiting time for the invitation is not so long as well for some people. The latest EOI submitted was on 2020, July and August. So they don't have to wait for a long time to wait for the visa application. And however, this group of people, they might need to wait a bit longer for the visa grant, because in the past few months the waiting time for the visa has been prolonged for most of the visa. 189, 190 and 491 visa. So average you have to wait longer, 3 months longer than the past. The second issue I would like to cover is the English requirement. I think a few days ago, the Minister for Immigration actually issued a media release to talk about his proposing to cancel the 510-hour cap English class for those who can meet functional English in skilled visa and business visa. So at the current stage, if you don't meet the functional English requirement, and you are a dependent in skilled visa, and if you can't meet functional English in business visa stream, you have to pay the extra money, extra application charge for the English course, which allows you to take 510 hours of English class for you to acquire functional English proficiency. However, immigration or the government thinks it's not sufficient for those who don't have functional English. That's why they would like to remove the cap, allows those who don't have functional English to take more numbers of hours, unlimited hour of English. But I think most people will not do so. And the minister has already said by late 2021, for partner visa applicant and sponsor has to prove themselves they have functional English as well. If you don't have functional English, before you apply for the permanent stage visa, you will have to take 500 hours of English to show that you got the functional English, and you have to put a reasonable effort to take those 500-hour English class. So what does it mean by reasonable effort? Immigration shine light some on this issue. It says you put reasonable effort means you take all the 500 hours of classes should be fine. So that's reasonable effort. So it's not hard to achieve. However, it will result a lot of issue as well. I will cover this in the later videos. The third issue I'd like to tell you is the Queensland sponsorship. The Queensland state nomination here, between July and October, there were thousands of applications lodged for the state nomination, and at the moment, state government of Queensland does not have 190 quota, and they still have 491 visa quota, so they're still processing the 491 nomination. The fourth issue I'd like to cover is the South Australia DARMA program. If you have never heard about DARMA, I would like to cover a little bit here. DARMA is actually a employer sponsor visa, like employer sponsor for a 2 visa or 186 visa. DARMA is a bit different to those employer sponsor. It is state government endorsed program. So if the state government think this employer requires you to fulfill a position, it's fine. And then they endorse this application and pass it to the Department of Home Affairs for process. And most likely, the Home Affairs will trust the state government's judgment, say, oh, this employer requires these people to fill position. What the changes at the moment is they add some new occupations into the Darwin program, South Australia, including those healthcare, manufacturing, high-tech sectors, agribusiness, and food production. They are all required by, at the moment, the Australian economic recovery and to tackle the COVID issue. The second changes for the Darwin program, South Australia, is the concession and PR pathways. The concession is purely the English concessions. The changes will be you only required, most likely, average IELTS 5 and no band under 4. If you're going to the outer South Australia regional area, you only need average 4.5 IELTS with no band under 4. So it's pretty generous program and pretty generous concession for those who can't meet higher level of English. Now I would like to cover a bit about the Australian border and COVID situation. At the moment, Charles Darwin University has already said by late November they will have a charter flight to take about 70 students into Australia to continue the study on campus. The student only required to pay $2,500. The rest will be covered by Charles Darwin University. So not only Charles Darwin University has already announced this program, other states has already taken big steps to organize similar measures, including South Australia and New South Wales. And I predict that Victoria will follow this program as well. Why I would say that? Because Victoria is preparing to welcome the first international flight to the Melbourne airport among the few months. So I think by late November or early December, we can see the plane land onto the Melbourne airport. That's what Victorian government is doing and would like to welcome those international global citizens to come to Victoria for studies and welcome those Australian citizens or permanent residents to return home through the Victorian airport. The new hotel quarantine system will also be in place for those who land onto Victoria. So we'll see how it goes. The report for the inquiry will be released by mid-November. So at that time, we'll have more details about the new hotel quarantine system. I'd like to also tell you that the Prime Minister has already said Australia is welcoming international students or workers into Australia border maybe in early 2021. So the first lot of travelers will be for international students. Then people who may be holding 482 visa, 186 visa or other work visa. So we'll see how it goes. Why I would like to cover that is because I would like to assure that why Australian government would like to welcome those international students or international travelers to Australia, because they are confident in controlling the COVID situation in Australia. They think at the moment the COVID situation is manageable and the resources in Australia is sufficient to manage the predicted number of COVID cases. However, I would say for those international travelers who are holding tourist visa, they need to wait a bit longer until the vaccine is available for Australian people to be vaccinated. This is all for this week. I'd like to ask you, please subscribe our channel. If you like this video, share, comment and like. See you next time.